So that's what rape is. Okay, so there's different types of rape. There is date rape, which is obviously if you're out on a date with someone. First date, 18th date, it doesn't matter. That can be rape. There's acquaintance rape, which we know is 85%, accounts for 85% of sexual assaults. Most people who have been a victim of sexual assault, the perpetrator was someone that they knew on some level. Sorry guys, I've been doing this all day, but work with me. Pennsylvania has also changed the definition of what statutory rape is. It's now called statutory sexual assault. And what that means is if you are under the age of 16 and you have sex with someone who's 4 years or more older than you, whoever is older can be charged with statutory sexual assault. All right, so those are just some of the main terms that we're going to be talking about today. Every 2.5 minutes in America, someone is raped. 3% of that are men. Now, the reason that we believe that a lot of guys don't report it is, first off, they feel ashamed, or they hear that, oh, well, you must have liked it if you were raped, or you were raped by a girl, how did that happen? You weren't really raped, you enjoyed all of it. And then they automatically think that the perpetrator must have been a homosexual, which that isn't true either. We found out that most perpetrators are heterosexual. 1 in 4 females and 1 in 6 males will be the victim of sexual assault at some point in their lifetime. I mean, if you think about that number, that's a lot of people. And it's a shame that we don't talk about it more. You know, we don't hear about it more. That people are afraid to report it. If you're a female and you've been raped, a lot of times it's, well, what were you wearing? What did you say to provoke them? Were you flirting? Maybe you let that person on. And the thing is that none of that matters. Rape is all about power and control. You know, the perpetrator has power and control over you. You're going to do what I want you to do when I want you to do it, and you're not going to say anything. You know, the first couple of minutes of being attacked, your adrenaline's going to shoot through the roof. You know, we all know what that adrenaline rush feels like. And you're going to run a lot faster, you're going to hit a lot harder at that moment. However, if you're a victim and you do not experience that adrenaline rush, or you do it and you don't know what to do with it and you don't fight back, and this overwhelming feeling of guilt takes over these victims. They feel like, oh, I should have fought back harder. I should have said no louder. I should have done this. I should have done that. The thing is the moment that you said no, or stop, or pushed them away, or said, leave me alone, or I don't want to do this, that was the moment that you became a victim, because they kept doing it. They're at fault. They're the ones that are guilty, not you. You've been the victim. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. I'm a victim. This is what happened to me. That doesn't make you a weak person, and it doesn't mean you should be ashamed of it. Because the thing is, that's the first step to healing. Being able to say, yes, I'm a victim of this. There was a news story, ABC, what was it, ABC does 2020, I think it was a 2020 episode. And this guy came knocking on her door real early in the morning, and she came up to the peephole, he knocked the door in and raped her. He actually drove her out to like the middle of nowhere, raped her, and then shot her, left her for dead. She was able to make it to a house, ran into a house, and he was pounding on the door, ringing the doorbell, and then just kind of collapsed. The guy opened the door and saw this naked woman bleeding. She's now out speaking out about being a victim. She was not going to say, just because I'm a victim, I'm ashamed of what happened. It wasn't her fault. She was at home asleep, and this guy broke into her house. So we're trying to get this out so that victims don't feel like they have to be afraid. It's nothing that you have to be ashamed of. There's so much help out there for you now to help you overcome that feeling, to help you for the counseling, to deal with the fact that yes, it's been raped. Now what I do and a lot of my fellow co-workers do is if someone has been a victim of sexual assault and they go to either Harrisburg Hospital, the Holy Spirit, they go to Hershey Med, we get a phone call. And what I do, once I'm in there, my role is whatever you want it to be. If you've been a victim and you just want me there to hold your hand as they're doing a safe exam, that's what I'll do. If you want me there to help you find counseling or put a counseling referral in, that's what I do. I cannot and will not report it to the police. Because everything you tell me is confidential. It's safe and confidential. It's between you and me. Do you guys know what a safe exam or a rape kit is? Yes, no, some of you. Law and Order SVU. That's basically what it is. It's a long, in-depth procedure. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very violent. violating, but it's also a huge help in helping to make sure that you're safe, because they run tests to see if you could be a victim of an STD. What's your chance of being pregnant? What's your chance of getting any type of DNA off of you? Because even if the perpetrator wore a condom, it doesn't mean there's no DNA on you. So they're going to take swabs, they'll take pubic samples, they'll have you take off whatever you're wearing on like it looks like a big white sheet, just to see if anything fell off. They send it all off to the lab to be tested for evidence. They take samples of your hair, they take pictures. You stand there in the room, they turn the lights off, and they take a black light, and they shine it on you to see any types of marks that you have on you, or any types of, fluids that have been left on you that might not be your fluids. They test all of it. As an advocate, as a crisis advocate, we're in there the whole time. Sometimes all a victim needs is to know that there's someone there on their side that's not interested in anything else but their well-being. And that's sometimes all a victim needs. You should never be afraid of reporting it. I told you 85% of sexual assault victims were victimized by someone that they knew. It's easier for the perpetrator if they know you. If they know you, they know your weak spots. They probably know your routine. They know how to get to you. There's a misconception that if you're being raped, you are threatened with violence or with some type of weapon. That's not always true. Sometimes the biggest threat that a person can do is simply by saying, if you don't do what I tell you, I will hurt you. Or I will hurt someone you love. Or, that picture that you sent me, if you don't sleep with me now, and you don't do this, I'm going to send it out to everybody. Well, that's being threatened. That's also rape. So there's a lot of different types of rape. It's not just someone, holding a gun to your head or holding a knife up to your throat or threatening you with physical violence. Date rape is also often confused with the date rape drug. You do not have to be drugged by roofies for it to be considered date rape. Now, the date rape drug does, you guys know when you first wake up in the morning and you can barely lift your head off the pillow, let alone turn an alarm off, you're just so tired? That's the same type of thing that the date rape drug does. It just kind of takes over your entire body. There are times and there are stories of a victim who has had the date rape drug and they were awake and conscious during the entire assault, but they couldn't fight back. It was like, having an out-of-body experience. They knew it was going on. They wanted to fight back, but they couldn't. There was a case in Texas of a little girl who was gang raped. And she came in and she was in and out of it. She was gang raped for like 7 or 8 hours. And they've all been caught, and they're all in trouble. But that was what happened. She knew what was going on, and even though she wanted to fight back, she couldn't. There was no way for her to fight back because of the date rape drug, because of roofies. Alcohol is the #1 date rape drug, because all I have to do is keep feeding you a drink, after a drink, after a drink, to the point where you're so drunk that you'll agree to do anything. It is illegal to have sex with someone who is under the influence of alcohol or drugs, meaning that if someone is intoxicated and that you decide to have sex with them, that can be considered rape. Now, I'm not saying it to scare you. So we go out to the bar and I go home with my partner, this automatically means no. What this is doing is it's protecting the person who's at a party, at a bar, and someone else just keeps giving them drinks for the purpose of getting them into bed. That's what it's there for. It's to protect the people who are trying to be out, go out and have a good time, and then wake up the next morning, well, how did I get here? Where are my clothes? Why, who are you? Why am I here like this? That's what it's for. So if someone, I was so drunk, I don't remember saying yes to any of that. They're the ones that can say, yes, I want to report rape. This is what's scary. This is what the problem is. So I don't want to scare you. It's like, oh, I'm worried if you've ever had sex with someone who's intoxicated, you raped them. No, it's to protect the people who had no intention of doing that at all. Do you guys have any questions so far? Comments, concerns as I continue on?
I got a question.
Yeah.
You were talking about the rape kit earlier that professionals use.
Yeah.
If you don't have like a kit, what are the things that you're looking for if your friend comes up to you and says, my father's assaulting me, and like she lets you analyze her body? What are some of the things you want to look for? Get
her to the hospital right away. Because here's the thing. If you've been a victim of sexual assault, the worst thing you can do is take a shower or change your clothes.
Right.
That's going to be your first instinct. Get all that grime and nasty off of you. But the thing is that they are going to have